time or another has that aspect of it. It just depends on what's going on. But are you seeing a growth of this honor shame idea in our culture? Because it really seems to me, if you go on YouTube and you put in Brene Brown and she talks about shame, I mean, she's getting tens of millions of hits
Yes,
because of that. Because you see to seem that it seems to be that it's in the Western culture. I mean, are you really seeing that right now? Are we seeing that?
very much, very much. In fact, um, I first of all was most surprised at my own story as I began to understand life through the worldview of my Muslim friends. I began to see my own story more clearly, and I
Mm,
began to see that the theme of my own life was actually a theme of it was a journey from shame to honor. And I will forever be grateful to that worldview for helping me see that in my own life. But when I returned here to live in the United States about 10 or so years ago, I was I was amazed to see different groups crying out for honor,
mm,
whether it is our LGBTQ plus community, whether it is Black Lives Matter, whether it is name your group. Right
mhm,
now, there are many groups who the heart cry that brings all of them together is see me.
mm,
I have value.
mhm,
And that is not an unfair cry.
mm,
If you look at our history, if we study our history in the West, we will see that only a couple hundred years ago, during the founding of the United States, for example, we were primarily an honor shame culture. There were still duels. There were families married their daughters to honorable families. These things, it was still done this way. I'm not passing judgment on whether that was good or bad. I'm just pointing out that history tells us the story that we have this in our past and we have it in our future, and it's moving toward it in our present right now. And I believe that the message of the gospel has been has been accurate, that we are forgiven of our sins, and that is true. But perhaps there is another facet that we desperately need to know, because there are many, many people in the United States today and in the Western world who have heard the gospel message that they're forgiven, but they don't know what to do with their shame.